Hi, welcome to ABRAS Around the House. Today I'm going to be going over this build that I just completed, two-stage dust collection system, and takes the dust down to 1 micron level. And this build took me just a little bit of time, so I wanted to make sure I went through it in detail with you all and how it was all put together and all the parts that were involved in doing so. One of the things that I've been wanting to do for a while is to build in some components of woodworking into my garage in this small space, and part of that I felt was important is a good dust collection system. Did a lot of research on YouTube, a lot of great ideas that I was able to take bits and pieces from a lot of different folks that gave me some insight on how to build a good dust collection system. So I took the best of what I found out there and tried to make the best product that I could for my area. One of the important factors for me was being able to store it where I could put it away and it not take up space in the garage. And I have a spot right over here where I used to store my table saw, my job site saw, and my chop saw. And I built this to where it would fit right in there and still give me some more space in there for maybe one more piece. And then slowly I'm going to start bringing in some woodworking components into this garage and still maintain the look and feel that I'd like, and that's going to be my goal. And I want to try to do that in a way that's not going to just turn it into a complete wood shop, but it's also not going to be what it is right now. So first step in that I felt was important was air quality in the garage, because it's such a closed off area. I really don't have the ability to push it outside, so best thing I can think of to do would be to filter it. So I did a lot of research online and saw a lot of different systems and setup and tried to take the best of what I could find and create my own two-stage dust collection system. So this is it. It is a tank. It's not light by any stretch, but it also is very solid and moves around really quite easily. I was real happy with being able to get all the components into this footprint and yet make it still look good, which is important to me. Not many dust collection systems look like this. I do realize that, but I did want it to kind of have the look and feel of the garage here as well. So that's why you see the lights and the diamond plate and the color scheme that I used on it to make it fit into this space. So hope you enjoy the video. If you like what you're seeing, make sure you subscribe and get notifications. I'll be putting out, of course, more videos as I continue to morph this area into what I really would like it to be. And there's quite a bit of work to do. So please enjoy, and thank you for viewing this video. There are several major components to this dust collection system, including the Superstrut that is used for the structure itself. And typically Superstrut is used for support and bracing, like for fixtures, cable, pipe, and conduit. You can find that at your local big box store. And then I also used this Oneida product, the Super Dust Deputy, the 5-inch version, and then the bin that goes along with it. I like this bin because it's made for the Super Dust Deputy, and it has that see-through to be able to tell how much dust is in your bin. It's a 17-gallon version. This right here is a transmission jack that I picked up at Harbor Freight, and the sole purpose of the transmission jack is to be able to empty the dust drum, and also it provides kind of a stable base for the whole thing. Mainly purchased the Harbor Freight dust collection system for the motor. I picked it up for, I believe, $170 when it was on sale, and I ended up using several of the parts from that system to build mine. As I put together these parts, I was at this point really just trying to determine the best way to support that transmission jack. And as I worked with it, I found that that 2x6 and the 2x4, using those, it really worked out well in terms of just the way that the transmission jack is designed. And this really does provide a nice solid base. It keeps the whole dust collection system from being top heavy. And here, just using those pocket holes to connect the base frame. This is my first time really ever using this pocket hole jig, and I really do like the ease of use and how solid it actually is. I've seen it used a lot, but I'd never used it myself, so really happy with that part. Here I'm just priming this transmission lift before I paint it. Just wanted an all black undercarriage to this. I was really impressed with this Superstrut. I've never worked with Superstrut before, but really easy to cut, but so strong when it comes to all the different attachments that you can use with it. And of course I just sanded it down and painted it as well. I primed it and then painted it. This is some of the Superstrut attachments, and these are actually, these angles, 90-degree angle brackets are actually have magnetized a portion of them, so that when you go to attach it, it'll kind of just hold in place. But used lag bolts, went directly into the frame, spanned both 2x4s in attaching these 90-degree angle brackets on, so that it would support the Superstrut Uprights. Very, very strong when everything is complete. I couldn't really ask for much better, even if I would have welded it. I think it's really that strong. Now these Superstrut bolts are pretty unique in that spring kind of holds them in place, and I think it's really meant for when you have this Superstrut up against something solid, so those don't kind of pop out of the holes in the back. But they still worked, and then I used lock washers and bolted those up. A couple of times I got a little snug there between the bolts on the angle, on one side of the 90-degree angle, but they all still fit fine and very strong. So this will, I used an extension here so that I could lower and raise the lift from outside the base, and so that required me to kind of create a way to hold it in place, and that's what I'm doing here. Basically all that is a 1/2 inch extension, impact extension that I purchased at Harbor Freight. Pretty inexpensive piece there, and then created the channel for that to go through so that I could then just slide that into place. Now the way that I did the Velcro is similar to the way that I found out was the best way to attach LED lights in the garage, and that is first stapling this Velcro to the wood, and then using the adhesive that comes with the LED and attaching it to the adhesive on the Velcro, and that's a much stronger hold than just going directly onto the wood. What would happen after a period of time is it would just pop off that wood, and so I didn't want that happening. So I spent a little bit extra there in making sure the Velcro was securely attached so that I could then attach the LED to it. This is the LED kit that I purchased. It actually runs 2 different LED strands, and that gives me enough for the base and then the upper portion LED that I wanted to do. Here's where I'm attaching the other side of the Velcro, and then I will take the adhesive and attach the adhesive LED to that. And I just ran a double strand here since I had plenty of LED length to use. And time for the test. And I'm a little bit of a sucker for this diamond plate aluminum, and I think I purchased a 2x4 sheet to do all the trim work on this project. And here I'm just scoring that so that it will bend more easily along a straight line, and then just go ahead and clamp it into place, and then use my rubber mallet to create that bend. And this is some epoxy here that I'm using to keep it secure to the base. This is the finished product of the lower portion of the diamond plate trim. And then what I'm doing here is drilling through a hole so that I can run that second strand of LEDs up for the top portion of the dust collection system. And what I wanted was LEDs that would kind of shine down from the top. Here I am locating the hole that the impact socket goes through to allow for the lift to be raised and lowered from the outside. This stick tile is what I'm using for the base to cover the painted 2x4s. Wanted a little bit of a clean finish, and since I'm using this also on the platform that raises and lowered, I had plenty of it, so I just went ahead and used what I had to cover this as well, and kind of give it a matching look, and cover the 2x4s. A little bit more tedious work in cutting it all to match, but I think it was well worth the time. Here I am creating the platform portion of the lift, and I just used some of my remaining birch plywood, and then to create a little bit of a thicker look to it, as well as using that to kind of cover. I created a faux edge. I'll give it a little thicker look to it, and also almost cover the platform itself, but I wanted some of that to still show for the LED lighting to kind of shine through. Now I'm using some of that stick tile to also cover the platform itself. And I used, tried to use some super glue. Kind of went back and forth between epoxy and super glue a little bit here, trying to find the best way to do this, because I knew that the stick itself, that the vinyl that's applied already to that vinyl, was not going to be enough to really hold it in place. Now here I'm using some fast super glue method to attach the edging. Testing the level of the platform, and I'm only leveling the platform to the lift at this time to make sure that that portion is, because the garage slopes a little bit. I'm not really using the level of the garage, but I'm using the level for the lift. Then I used a template to drill the holes that I will be securing the platform to. I'm just attaching the platform to the lift, and once that's been completed and I've pulled those down to where they're below the top of the wood, so that I can then use these stick tiles to cover that platform. I wasted a few tiles doing this, but par for the course, right? Here I'm using a template to be able to attach this Harbor Freight motor from the dust collection system that I purchased to the Superstrut frame, and I just used another Superstrut piece to attach to the uprights to create the place to attach the motor to. I ended up going with even another piece of Superstrut because there were a couple of brackets on the motor itself, and I thought, why not? I had the extra Superstrut and thought it would just give it some more stability for the motor. Here I'm just removing the springs. As I mentioned before, those springs were really kind of intended that the Superstrut is up against something solid, and so here and there they were kind of poking out of the holes in the back. So I just pulled those and cut them and removed them from there so that it didn't look unfinished. So assembling all of this together was a bit of a trial and error process. Sometimes things fit, sometimes they didn't, so I had to make adjustments along the way. I knew as a whole that it would all fit because I had measured it and remeasured it, and so I knew it would fit. It was just a matter of the exact angles and sometimes how that things matched up in terms of diameter, and was able to make it work, but it didn't have instructions to follow in doing it. It was obviously this is DIY, so you kind of work it out as you go, and things worked out fine. Here I'm bringing the DustRight filter into play, coming off of that motor, and used a PVC pipe there, a 90-degree PVC pipe to make that work. This is something I picked up. It's a reducer, and I picked up that on Amazon, and you basically can reduce, it reduces an inch at a time, and I needed to go from 5 down to 4, I believe, at this point. And so you just cut it. Probably would have been easier if I just used a hacksaw to cut that instead of that grinder. And here I needed a little bit more taken off of the Oneida part, and so I just removed that with the hacksaw. And this is just a boot to go from one piece to the other, and I picked that up also. This PowerTech company has a lot of those type of parts, and I'll list those in the description. But I found a lot of great parts through this company. The reducer came from that company as well. Again, trial and error and finding parts that work. This sleeve here actually came with the Harbor Freight dust collection system, so I was able to put it to use. I used as many parts as I could off of that dust collection system, and this was one of them. I did have to cut off the end here to get the height that I needed, and that was part of the challenge, was getting that exact height to where I could lower it to remove the dust collection bin. And so this sleeve here with a little bit of Gorilla Tape, which I found that to be very useful whenever I was close, but needed just a little bit more to be able to secure it. So, and these parts here, these two clamps came with the, I think, the DustRight collection system, or DustRight filter. So here I am attaching the top of the drum to the Oneida Dust Deputy, Super Dust Deputy, and I want to make sure I did this correctly, so I'm referring to some instructions there. It's good to do that every now and then, make sure you're on track. And so this part here is going to keep a seal on this, and then just use the bolts. I did really like this part. Part of the reasons I purchased this bin from Oneida was because it came already with the pre-drilled holes and everything matched up, and I didn't have to worry about trying to make that work on my own. And also I do like the top. It has that see-through plexi on it, or whatever you want to call it, to be able to see how much is in your bin. Here I'm just making sure that the height's going to be right, and attaching it to the motor. And it's got that reducer on it that takes it from 4 to 5 inches, which is what the Oneida Dust Deputy's diameter is at the top. And then just hose clamp it together. I've seen a lot of people just use duct tape, different types of aluminum tape, that type of thing. I tend to like the hose clamp. Here you saw me just raise that platform, and that's to make sure everything's going to be at the right height for. Now here's where I just added that other piece of Superstrut. I had enough left over, and there had these brackets on the back of the motor that I just was able to attach directly to that piece of Superstrut, which was just an additional support and take a little bit of vibration out probably. It worked out really well. Back to some of the trim work and using the diamond plate that I have. The 2x4 piece was just enough to be able to add this piece on the end, and it kind of covers some of the components there. And then also I'm going to use that area to apply my logo with a stencil. Here I'm cutting the piece for the opposite side top. And I did it just to kind of balance it all out.
Always cleaning up the edges of that because there are some burrs on the aluminum after you cut it. And you can see where I put the screws in, or for the, and I wanted those exposed, and so I just attached those to the Superstrut self-tapping screws. This piece here I'm just using, creating a support piece, and of course I had to paint it, clean it up and paint it as well. But basically it's a bracketing type material. You can purchase it at your Home Depot, and I just bent it to where I could attach it to the Superstrut and then onto that DustRight to help support the filter. And I did use self-tapping screws here with a rubber washer so that it would seal, so no air could flow through there. And then I did a support piece at the top as well. And again, this is just to keep everything stable, keep vibrations down, and again, use the self-tapping screws. The part that I did attach it to there, as far as the motor, I used the rubber washers as well, and of course I had all this snugged up as far as the platform so that the height was exactly at what I wanted it to be for that motor, so that it didn't lean down at all. And here I'm putting the bag on the DustRight filter, and that DustRight filter is a product from Rockler, and really liked that particular filter. There are other filters and probably less expensive filters, but I like the feature where you can turn it at the top and knock the dust down from the baffles, and they fall right into that bag. So here I'm attaching everything back, the dust collection bin, so that I can give it a test run. The leftover Superstrut I used to create a little more surface area, so I could then attach the extra attachments that I purchased at Rockler for the dust collection system. And just so happened, it was really just by happenstance that I had enough room on that side, and I was really pleased with that, so that I could put this attachment on this side of the dust collection system. And they come with the clamps. When you purchase these from Rockler, they come with the clamps so that you can just pop those right on. That is a floor sweep type system there, and then that's just a curved attachment with some brushes on the end. And that all fit up there nicely. The other piece is a reducer that you'll see in this shot here, right above that. So that's a reducer right there, to be able to use smaller hoses. I had to heat this portion with a heat gun to get the reducer on there, and it was kind of cool how that worked out because it sealed itself. And then I had this just laying around. I hadn't used it yet for anything else, and so it happened to have the diamond plate finish on it, so I used this power strip on that side. And an on-off switch that I purchased at off of Amazon, and I'll list that in the details as well. So if you like one of those, it really works great. You just plug into it, and then it plugs into your power source. So here's a little problem I ran into. This filter cleaner, which just runs a plastic blade along the baffles and helps knock the dust loose, was running into the sides. It was running into the Dust Deputy, and then it was also running into my attachments. So what I did is I just cut that down, because all I really need to do is be able to turn it and put the handle back on, the end back on, and then attached it back to the top, and then I don't have to worry about it hitting anything there. So that worked out real good there. So I'm always looking for good cord management, so I just use these coat hooks basically for cord management. Just point in opposite directions, and attach those to the Superstrut with self-tapping screws. A little touch-up paint. And here, I had to come up with a solution for the hose. It's basically like a slinky, and I was trying things like hooking the hose and then wrapping it around, and I couldn't come up with anything that would work. And then it dawned on me that I could just create some uprights and make it to where I could slide that hose, because it goes from like 4 feet to 20 feet. I could slide that hose on and just have a place for it to stay, and this worked out great. I'm really this was one of those that you're just trying to find a solution for something, and this came to mind. I didn't see it anywhere, hadn't seen it on anybody else's builds, and so it worked out really good though. And then I just put a little hook up there to hook it to with some of the Superstrut attachments that I had, and then another one of those coat hooks. A little bit of touch-up paint to that, and that worked out great. So now I have a place for my hose. Did a little bit more work on the diamond plate trim, because the on-off switch, I had to create a little cutout for that. So that's what I'm doing here. And that's the cutout for that. And one of the last things that I did was attach the handle to the dust collection bin so that I can pull that out once I lower it down. And here I'm lifting it back up, just using a 1/2-inch socket. Found out that's really the best way to do it. It's such a short distance, and I don't do it with a drill. And there's the finished product.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Abraz Around the House. Hopefully this video was helpful to you. We are up to 640 subscribers, so if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe and ring that bell for notifications of future videos as we continue to morph this area into what I hope it will be one day. And so once again, thank you, God bless, and good day.